Alice Walker here at Real Nappies for London. We're doing a special talk today about the Big Toilet Project and how parents and carers' experiences can help shape better support for families across the UK and beyond. So today I have the pleasure to be joined by Professor Mark Miodownik, lead researcher on the Big Toilet Project and UCL Mechanical Engineering and UCL Plastic Waste Innovation Hub. So Mark is here to talk about the Big Toilet Project, which is a global study exploring why the average toilet training age of children has risen and how to reduce the environmental burden of disposable nappy waste. We are also joined by Kriztina Csobay, co-host of the Break Free from Plastic Nappy Task Force and president of Greenzone Association Hungary. Krista will be bringing a broader European perspective to the conversation of toilet training. So let's get into it. Yeah,
Great.
fantastic. So, Mark, can you tell us what the Big Toilet Project is and what you're hoping to learn from it?
Yeah, the Big Toilet Project is a citizen science project. So that means that everyone who is currently toilet training or has toilet trained a child in a care or parent capacity can join in, and it's global. So we want data from all around the world. And what we're aiming to understand is what when do people start toilet training? What are their kind of preconceptions about it? Like, when they should start? Like, do they have kind of ideas about that? We want them to kind of record that on our website. Do they use a particular method to do that? Because we're very interested to see what kind of approaches different carers and parents from around the world use. And then we want, if you're currently toilet training, we want you to kind of, in a sense, start a log. So you say, okay, we're starting this next week, whatever, and we want you to kind of, in a sense, tell us the different milestones that you achieve with your child. And hopefully then tell us when you're successful. And that data, all those data from all around the world, will help us really better understand why the toilet training age in, let's say, sort of countries with richer countries, let's say, appear to have gone up really quite dramatically. So the kind of numbers we're talking about are in the 1950s, we know that toilet training age in, let's say, Western countries was between 18 and 24 months. That was the normal. And now it's up to the 37 to 40 months. So, and the reason why we're interested in this is because we're trying to understand plastic waste issues around absorbent hygiene products and nappies and how to make them more sustainable. And it's occurred to us that actually reducing the toilet training age, if we could work out what the factors are in making this go longer, we could help governments encourage citizens and support parents and carers to reduce it. And as we see it, it's a win-win-win situation that it's win for the kid because we talk to all the health professionals that we can find, and none of them say there's any problem with starting toilet training earlier. We obviously from a plastic waste issue and a waste issue in general, and the environment, it's better because less nappies would be then used, disposable. And it's a win for the parents or carers because that's less money they have to spend on those products. So that's in a nutshell what we're trying to do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mark. Yeah, so we often hear from families who feel unsure about when to start and how to do it. And I feel there's no one size fits all approach sometimes, and it can feel quite overwhelming. So it's really great to, see a project like this looking at real experiences. And Mark, why is it important to understand real life toilet training experiences, do you think?
I think there has been no sense of what actually is happening. I think there's a kind of from our initial studies where we did interviews with a very select set of people before this, in order to kind of get this project off the ground. That data shows that people tend to listen to parents and their friends about when they should start toilet training and what method they might use, if they use a method at all. And that seems to be, in a sense, quite a scattergun because it's very culturally um, determined and depends on who around you is giving you advice. And that may not be, let's say, the best way to um, toilet train your child. That that they may be missing out on better methods to do it earlier and more effectively. And then the other thing is that we know and we're really cognizant of the fact that the reason it's gone up is not because of negligence. Like every parent and carer cares about their kids. So there are lots of other factors we're trying to get a handle on. For instance, the number of two working parent families is a much more different thing than earlier in early, in 20th century when perhaps there was more prevalent for a single parent to be working and a single parent to be at home. And that's a totally different scenario for toilet training and many of the other aspects of rearing children. So we really want to understand better those kind of bigger factors and how they then influence toilet training.
Krista, what are you seeing across Europe when it comes to nappies and potty training, and why is this project relevant at a European level?
Yeah, just to say some numbers, it is estimated that 33 billion single-use diapers are used yearly, resulting in around 6.7 million tons of waste annually in the EU. And disposable diapers are not only an environmental problem, but also a health risk. Because single-use diapers can contain toxics and chemical remains. Yeah, we are talking about single-use plastics product. And we are working on to raise awareness about the issue of diaper waste is in as many places as it possible. Additionally, single-use diapers are partly a reason of delayed potty training. As proven by experts, delayed potty training can lead to health problems as well, such as incontinence and stool withholding. So it's a really big problem. And not to mention that children who often wear single-use diapers are not aware of when they urinate. And it can also cause problems regarding their body awareness. On the top of that, there is a part about the institutions. Kindergartens, especially in the Eastern European countries, don't have the infrastructure to handle children with delayed potty training. But I think in the Western European countries, the situation is the same. So that's why we as the task force support parents and childcare professionals to know these methods on how to potty train their children at an earlier stage. And that's why the results of this survey on the gaps in early potty training will be really useful for our work when we are planning campaigns and joint projects at European level.
Thank you so much, Krista. Yeah, definitely the research would help to complement all of the work that organizations do, and particularly local authorities when it comes to waste reduction and reuse goals. I know at Real Nappies for London, particularly, we often hear from parents using reusable nappies that they feel more in tune with their child's cues, like noticing when they're wet, which can help to lead to earlier or more responsive toilet or potty training. So yeah, I think it's really about that sensory feedback and thought to help the build and body awareness, which can support that, and something the reusable nappy industry has recognized for years. So the Big Toilet Project would help to complement in that element too. What, Mark,
Yeah, in fact, we talk
comment?
about that. We are, although of course we are talking because the majority of people use disposable nappies. We are looking to people to record whether they're using disposable or whether they're using reusable in our study, because this is about toilet training. It's not about the type of nappy. We really welcome and would love people who use reusables to engage in the study, because we need the data from all different types of nappy use, and that's really important for us.
Of course, yeah, and every family's journey is different, and having experiences of people from both sides of disposable nappy use and reusable nappy use, and that's why we are also encouraging as many reusable nappy users to take part in the Big Toilet Project, so that sometimes their experiences are valuable and often underrepresented in research like this. So yes, it's crucial. So yeah, Mark, tell us, how can people take part in the study then? What's involved in that?
Well, so you just go to our website, which is the bigtoiletproject.org, and it will come up, and then there's a kind of survey of attitudes and understanding where people are coming from on this, which is the first part, which should only take 5 minutes to fill in. And then if you are engaging in toilet training a child in the next, well, currently, what we'd love you to do is log that journey. Because I think that data is the most important data. And people always ask us, well, why can't I put it in I've done my toilet training but I want to engage. And the point is that we recognize that parents are often don't remember well, and lack of sleep. And what we don't want to do is come up with an enormous amount of data, and then later on people say, well, a lot of that data is kind of not very reliable because it's inputted by people's memory. So it's really important that if you're toilet training your child now, that we get live data on that journey. And we're hoping that the website will continue for many years, because we're also recognizing that, and we hear it anecdotally, that although some people can do it in 2 weeks, and that's atypical. I don't, like we'll find out, or 4 weeks or 6 weeks. There is loads of relapsing that goes along. And there's also nighttime incontinence, which can take much longer. And we want to capture all that. So, and I think that'll be really helpful for future parents, future kids, for government policy to really understand that actually this is something that parents really struggle with. And we definitely know of parents that are years into toilet training. And I think those parents really need help, and think that, and not to feel alone, not to feel that something that their family's struggling with, no one else is. Because actually, I think actually just us publicizing the fact that actually that's probably quite a common phenomenon, and that you don't have to feel like you're some sort of in some crisis of that's unique to your family, and then to try and develop through the data, develop ways to support those carers and parents.
That's fantastic, Mark. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, it is, important that people don't feel that they are alone in this aspect of it. And from a social side, particularly at Real Nappies for London, through our events and voucher scheme, parents often meet other people, share tips, and explore techniques such as elimination communication, which is a thing. So, it does resonate with us as well with what you've just said. So, we touched upon it a little bit about reducing waste earlier, but Mark, would you like to expand a bit more? Why is this kind of research important for future parenting advice and reducing waste?
Well, I mean, it is, as Kriztina said, like an enormous waste stream. I mean, and it's getting bigger globally. I mean, because although the number of babies in the West, let's say, is not increasing, um, the number of families using disposable worldwide is increasing, and that seems to be associated with wealth. So as people get more affluent in countries like Africa and India and China, they adopt the disposable nappies, and then of course that, because we don't actually have at the moment any way of, well, we're also studying this. Like, we need effective ways of collecting those, like, and then recycling those, and not what is the current practice, which is in places with waste infrastructure like the UK and Europe, they are basically either landfilled or incinerated. Those are the two only outcomes. There's a few pilot schemes for recycling, um, but they require a really large investment, and it's something I really hope that we can do, and really kind of crack that technical and socio-economic issue. But then when you just look worldwide at this issue, it is kind of really worrying. So we've got this sort of almost 9% of the black bag waste in the West is nappies and other adsorbent hygiene products. And if that then is mirrored in the rest of the world, that amount of plastic going into the environment is just of really concerning proportions. So we need to get on top of this now. We really need much better ways of reducing the amount used, then of the stuff that is used, of collecting and recycling it.
And Krista, did you have any comments about that? Additional thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agreed with that. Agreed with that because our task force called a Nappy task force, but it's more like reducing nappy use and promote elimination, communication, and diaper-free methods. So that's the final goal, to reduce the waste as much as we can.
It might be worth just mentioning here that we are also there is the compostable nappies too. So I mean, of all the kind of different ways, and it in again the plastics, they are not usually fully compostable. In fact, we've never found a nappy that is fully
Yeah.
compostable. So one thing that needs to really be done urgently if we're going to go down the composting route is we need much more innovation in making them fully compostable, and that's a big research area. And two, actually, in the UK and many countries, it's illegal actually to put the composting of a nappy into the soil and the compost made from it onto the land, because because it's a human waste stream, and there's lots of laws around that. Now, that may be it seems unlikely in the short term that will be relaxed just for all sorts of safety issues, but things like microplastics and other things are of big concern. So although composting is not out of scope for the future, I think that a lot more research needs to be done to make the composting route less environmentally damaging.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, well, that was the end of the questions that we have here. I just want to say thank you again to Mark and Krista for being here talking with us today about the project. And we really, really would welcome as many people to take part. So it's bigtoiletproject.org. And Mark, did you want to leave a final comment for people?
We just really, I think we're on a journey all together, hopefully, where we can help our children in two ways. One is to get toilet trained earlier, so that's just good for their health, and two, to not leave them an earth full of plastic waste. And I think those two are aligned in this project.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Win-win in my eyes. So, Krista, thank you so much. Mark, thank you again. And leave what we'll do is post everything, and you can leave your comments or get in touch with the UCL researchers team for more information as well. And if you want to know more about the Break Free from Plastic Nappy Task Force, you can get involved through Krista as well, so you can contact us too if you need. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing that insight, and we look forward to seeing the results in due course as well.
Yeah, we'll do an interim kind of report, which everyone can join on the Zoom in June. So yeah, look out for that.
Fantastic, brilliant. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye.
Thank you.